I'm going to tell you how lucky you are. You're able to be in the Rebbe's camp. You know, when you learn in the Rebbe's school, it's also something very special that you have a special connection with the Rebbe. But concerning camp, it's even more. Because concerning the camps, the Rebbe said that has a special connection to him. Actually, the Rebbe never left New York. The only place he went to the Ville, he left Ron Heights, but he never went any other place, except he went to the camps. He went to Camp Francisco and to Camp Tammuz for the girls. There's only two camps that were there, one for the boys, one for the girls. And the Rebbe left Ron Heights, left New York to go to be in camp. But the Rebbe spent such time to go there means something very special. It took about 3 hours to get there, 3 hours to get back. Those years there was different highways, you couldn't go so fast. So the Rebbe spent the whole day going to see the boys in camp and the girls in camp, and that's something very special. So therefore, through being here, you have to realize what a great schus you have. Now, the time of the year now is right after Yud Beis and Yud Gimel Tammuz, right? I'm sure you had a whole discussion here about it, and you know all about it. So let me maybe just one girl tell me what happened on Yud Beis Tammuz and people based in Gimel. Okay, choose you. You're the closest here. Microphone. No. Okay. Who wants? Who's gonna say? Okay. What happened to Beis Tammuz? Oh. That's very short and sweet. The previous Rebbe was freed from jail. Now, why was he in jail? Was he a criminal? So who's going to answer you? Why was he in jail? Yeah. Who knows who's going to say? Okay, right. He worked very hard to have schools for children, to have shuls to daven, yeshivas to learn, rabbonim to lead their communities. Something that was against the law in Russia, communist Russia. And therefore he was put into jail, and his life was in danger. And Hashem made a miracle that on Yud Beis Tammuz, that you give the 2 days together, he was freed from jail. And because of that, he came to America later, and then the Rebbe took over, and here we are. It's all a continuation for Yud Beis Tammuz. And all is because of the Mesiras Nefesh that he had in Russia for Yiddishkeit. And the Mesiras Nefesh in America in a different way. Now, who knows what does the word Mesiras Nefesh mean? Here? He was ready to give up his life. He actually gave up his life for Yiddishkeit. And not only him, but because of him, so many other Yidden in Russia went on Mesiras Nefesh to keep their Yiddishkeit going. And then when the Frierdiker Rebbe left Russia, a lot of Chassidim were not able to go. So they stayed. Years later, many of them, including, for instance, my parents, my in-laws, many hundreds and hundreds of Chassidim were able to escape Russia. But many of them still stayed there. And the Rebbe took care of them from America. He did all kinds of things to help the Yidden in Russia that kept up the work of the Frierdiker Rebbe to have what we call underground schools. Underground doesn't mean the basement. They probably were the basement. Underground means that the government shouldn't know about it because otherwise they could put you in jail or send you to Siberia. And the Rebbe helped from America, from New York, he helped them a lot. He helped them spiritually, helped them physically. Actually, last year, I think I was here, we were here together at the same time, so I mentioned some of the things that happened when we were in Russia to visit. That the Rebbe sent us to Russia about 40 years ago, and what we did there, and the things that we did was underground to teach. And I want to tell you just one little story, not about what happened to us, to show how the Rebbe cared for people in Russia. There was somebody who told he worked in the Israeli government. And after the 6-Day War, I'm sure you heard of the 6-Day War, there was a war against the Arabs, against the Yidden, against Israel, and Israel won the war, and Russia cut its ties with Israel. And like this, people from the Israeli government were able to go to Russia, some people, and then quietly they would help the Yidden there. give him money because they were very poor there. But after the 16th war, Russia cut its connection and they couldn't do it. So this guy comes over, this telephone very short. He was once asked as a group to go to Russia somehow in a hidden way. When he told them, before you go to Russia, the group has to go to America to visit Lubavitch Rebbe, to visit the Rebbe. And this guy goes over, he came into the Rebbe and Jesus group, and the Rebbe told him that since they're going to Russia, he has a mission for them. A funny mission. He gave each one of them, he gave him a sweater, a special sweater. What's so special about a sweater? But he found out the sweater had many buttons. And really, instead of the buttons, they put special watches that were very expensive, small, and they covered it with the buttons. So each sweater had 17 buttons, here, all kinds of buttons, and they were all really hidden watches, that each one was very expensive, and if you bring it to Russia, this would make a person who gets one of these, could sell it on the black market, we call it, and would make enough money to live for a year or two. And the Rebbe Kara wanted to do it. So he gave them these sweaters to these poor people, and he told them Hashem should protect you, you shouldn't be caught by the KGB, by the Russian government, and they left and they came to Russia. They came to Russia, they stayed in a hotel, and they had made up that the one that was cleaning the floors in the hotel really was a hidden Lubavitcher Chosid in Russia. And they were made up that there are certain codes how they would speak together. So the first thing they did, they came into the hotel, they went down to the lobby, they took out a newspaper, a special Jewish newspaper, Yiddish, and we read it, put it on the table, on the chair, left, and they made up, this guy, if you'll notice it, he'll turn it over. They came out later, they saw the newspaper turned around. So and he started singing and singing quietly, and they recognized that this was all made up before, and after a while, he motioned to them and he went out on the street, and there was a little truck there, and they all packed into the truck and went away. They came to a place, someplace in the forest, and there they came out, no one said a thing, they took off their sweaters, and they had the same kind of sweaters exactly laid there, made exactly like this, but with regular buttons. Because if they would not do that, the Russian government, KGB, or as we call it, the FBI, would notice that they have different buttons. So they made others the same buttons, but it wasn't. They left these sweaters there, they took the other sweaters, and they got back. And this is how the Rebbe made sure that he sent probably tens of thousands of dollars worth to the Russian Jews. This was all besides the Chomoshim and Sikurim and Tefillin that the Rebbe sent. So, Tammuz is the day that we celebrate the Friedrich Rebbe's release from prison. We actually celebrate not only the Friedrich Rebbe's release from prison, we celebrate the Mesiras Nefesh of all the Yidden in Russia and the help that they got from the Friedrich Rebbe and the Rebbe. What it means to us is very simple. What it means to us is like this. We, thank God, don't have to go on Mesiras Nefesh, right? We don't have to hide the fact that we want to learn Torah and keep mitzvahs and be frum. We don't have to hide it. There's nobody putting us in jail if we do that. Baruch Hashem. So if they kept it, it makes it easier for us to realize that we certainly should keep it. And therefore, what we take from Yud Beis Tammuz, which was yesterday's Gimel and the day before was debate, is that we have to, especially when we're under the influence of such a special camp, where you could feel the Yirah Shamayim in the air. What's Yirah Shamayim? The fear of Hashem. You could feel it in the air looking at the faces and the clothing and the dressing, the way the girls dress stylistic and behavior. You could feel the Yirah Shamayim. So when we're in such an atmosphere, in such a place, so certainly we have to make a hachlok, and we all know what that means, to take a resolution that we will, as good as we are, will behave a little bit better. We'll daven a little bit more. We'll add to our tzedakah, we will add to our tzedakah, we will do everything good. And if we do that, it'll definitely hasten the coming of Mashiach soon. Now we know that in a few days it's going to be Shiva Osir Tammuz, which is a fast day. That's the day we mourn, we cry about the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. But if we do this properly, hopefully Shiva Osir Tammuz will not be a fast day anymore. Mashiach will be here, and we will have it in my Yontif, and he will take us to Eretz Yisrael very, very soon. Be Matzliach, and have Matzloch and everything that you do in Gashmis and the Ruchnis. Go to.